Okay, so last week of June. Welcome
Yep.
back to the Memery hole. Got some more delicious memes for you.
Tasty as.
Yeah, first we had Kill Tony. We had Alex Jones last year. That was an absolute banger of an episode.
Was that where he was just absolutely pissed?
He was fucked. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good that he's such a force of nature that he can still percolate onto the internet after the biggest cancellation ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and not just percolate onto the internet. He did a podcast with Mike Tyson of all people, where they exchanged compliments and stuff.
That's all
Mike
podcasting
Tyson
is, isn't it?
praised him and-
It's
yeah,
compliments.
it's insane,
Psycho
incredible.
Yeah.
Leads nice to the next one. What do you mean she's a fed? What are they feeding her?
You gotta read it in a Joe Pesci voice, though. Like, what do you mean she's a fed? What are they feeding her? I can't do an Italian American accent very well.
I thought that wasn't bad.
Joe Pesci's
What do you
quite hard
mean
to
she's
do.
a fed? yeah, I can't do him.
He's kind of got a very unique timbre.
Somewhat squeaky though, like a little bit nasal.
A bit breathless.
He did that whole scene just because someone did it to him once when he goes, "What, I look like a joke to you," and all that. Like someone did that to him in a bar once, and it freaked him the fuck out, and he was like, "I reckon this guy would do it."
I guess we'll go down to the 0 HP Lovecraft to keep on the same one. Men are made most attractive by displaying pride and least attractive by displaying happiness, whereas women are made most attractive by displaying happiness and least attractive by displaying pride. For young women, male shame tends to be more attractive than male happiness. Or in other words, at Olympic level, women despise male happiness.
Yeah. Cage agrees.
Yeah. Where do you think the stereotype of like a brooding male protagonist comes from? Do you know what I mean? Like it's always the brooding manly type, not the happy manly type.
I suppose if you've got in a movie, like if the main character is just happy, it's like, well, doesn't there need to be some conflict that they have to overcome?
Yeah, where's the tension?
Yeah.
What if it's like a really happy guy that wants to get on antidepressants? So he's trying to
take a trip to Zanny Island.
Be really
Really
sad.
happy guy who wants to fuck up his life. Is that what you're saying?
So they can come out with a sequel.
Yeah, that'd be a good Daniel Radcliffe one, wouldn't it?
Well, speaking of shit movies, Ray Skywalker, absolute garbage. I left the theatre after I heard it. You know, shit. That's when the movie ended.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah.
It was such a shit movie though. You had to have like an extended run at the cinema because Joker was outselling it. Like it made like $1 billion, but then Joker also was making $1 billion. So okay, well, let's keep it in the cinemas for like an additional 4 weeks or something.
God.
Apparently, KENOBI did quite well, and it did better than the Boba Fett one.
Ugh.
Apparently, they fucked up Boba Fett.
I mean, they fucked everything up.
I know.
There were like a couple of good scenes in the KENOBI series, but it wasn't really overall very good. It could have been a 2-hour movie. Like it didn't need to be a 6-episode series. Like every single episode, it was, oh, they found us. Let's run away somewhere else. Just like running away all the time. It was like, what is this?
That's why Walking Dead was shit.
Waste of time, is what it
Walking
is.
Dead.
Also, we can get him to say hello there at the end of the fucking thing.
Did they?
Yeah, but even that feels dated. The sad thing is that even that feels dated.
Plus, he was saying that as like a surprise to his enemies, not to like a young. Why would he say it to a young Luke Skywalker?
Yeah.
It's like it's all like every character in Star Wars is aware of the entire franchise, which is just makes it like just unbearable.
Yeah.
How do they
And
square?
there's enough like breaking the fourth wall. Like I think we've had enough of that.
How did they square today's values on that? Where it's just a guy looking at a little kid, isn't it? An old man spying on a little kid. Do they address
I mean,
that?
it's I was gonna say it's made by Disney, so I don't think they have any problem with that.
They're completely blind to that.
Yeah.
What you mean today's values, such as terms like white privilege may contribute to a systematic neglect of white working class peoples who need support, MPs have said.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I mean, it's one of those things where they pretend to give a shit. It's kind of like they're gonna say that for a couple of weeks. Everyone's like, oh wow, look at this. This is it's so brave that like no politicians ever said that before, and then nothing gets done. They actually just said it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll literally just say anything, won't you? Words mean nothing to you. Here's a compromise. Why not just let trans women compete in sports that men are bad at, like long distance swimming or rhythmic gymnastics?
I still think Special Olympics. I think it solves everything.
Well, I do think. What if you Because I was thinking like surely now that we have such a huge percentage of trans people relative to the past, right? Like in some surveys, like up 10% of teens identify as transgender. Surely right now would be the best time to make a separate, like circumvent the problem, just making a transgender.
RuPaul's
division,
Olympics.
right?
The RuPaul category. Category is Olympics. Just like sachet competition. No running, just sashaying down the fucking 100-meter dash.
Yeah, the free. Yeah, the 5,000 meter.
But yeah, that'd be so
What's
bad
this
to
then?
watch though. I feel like watching trans people compete would be worse than the Special Olympics.
Yeah, Special Olympics is quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember
They got
watching it
they got the gadgets.
2012, was that the London Olympics? I didn't watch any of the Olympics, but I watched the Paralympics, and it was like way better. Like when they've got blades for feet, they run way faster.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. What's this Victoria's Secret?
Isn't that the football, women's
That's
football?
that awful woman, isn't it?
The
Yeah,
women's
the
football
awful-
No.
captain
Oh
on
right.
the left.
Yeah. But like the models are like the new models, so the new inclusive models of Victoria's Secret.
The secret is
like-
they've all got dicks.
I was gonna say the one on the right kind of looks like how in Men in Black they try to like integrate aliens into society. I think the one on the right is an alien in disguise.
Yeah.
Any second the face is gonna come off and it's gonna be like a tiny little alien inside. Being like, I get to be a model.
They all look like they forgot to put trousers on. Like, why they all got upper bits on?
Well, it is Victoria's Secret, so it's supposed to be underwear ads.
Isn't that not including like the bra bits and all that jazz?
Who knows?
Yeah.
PEG saying why not to why ban only critical race theory? Why not
Got to add the
Marxism?
Giga Chat image.
Yeah, why not Marxism, feminism, critical legal theory?
Yeah. I mean, this is where you need the Giga Chat. Yes.
Because then you're only left with mathematics.
And even that's gay now. They turned the maths gay. what's All Tomorrows? Is that a throwback to that our favorite religion?
No, is this a show about like different not show like is this a book about like how humans just do have like way in the future different species of humans have been, I guess, created. Maybe it's not the right word, not the right word, through the divergent evolution.
Yeah, it's a scientific fiction and speculative evolution written and illustrated by Turkish artist C.M. Kozman. Explores hypothetical future path of human evolution set from near future to 1 billion years from the present. Several future human species evolved through natural means through genetic engineering. So I guess that top middle one is the beginning of the mutations.
It looks creepy as shit, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, imagine having DNA strands just like falling out of your dick. He wants to read out the Robert Conquest laws.
I could do it. Robert Conquest's RIP 3 Laws of Politics. Number 1, everyone is conservative about what he knows best. Number 2, any organisation not explicitly right-wing sooner or later becomes left-wing. Number 3, the simplest way to explain the behaviour of any bureaucratic organisation is to assume that it is controlled by a cabal of its enemies.
Yep. 100% true. On all fronts.
Even number 2, like, even if you're explicitly right-wing, that doesn't necessarily mean you're safe from becoming left-wing. Like, how many outlets say they're right-wing but aren't?
Like, Daily Wire, like, or even like Fox News was like celebrating trans children the other day.
Was it?
Even like businesses like the International Bank of Chinese Commerce has like flags on it. It's like, what? What happened there?
Yeah.
What changed is now the media is staffed almost exclusively with inexperienced activists rather than by the experienced hardened sharks of yore. That's why the mask slips more than it used to. What do you reckon?
Just a bunch of amateurs. Well, yeah, it's just a bunch of people who have no connections to anything on the ground around them, talking to each other, and missing out on all actual, probably the more local issues that matter.
Yeah.
I don't really know how you're going to bring that back, really. That's the problem with it, isn't it?
Well, I think it's good that the mask is slipping. I think that means the grip on power is loosening.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like it's in the Battle of David v Goliath. The media's used to be on the side of David, but now it's pretty much Goliath anyway.
Yeah, well, it's Goliath, but it's pretending to be David, right? And then like a certain amount of people, 7% of people still buy it.
Yeah.
But I think things like Hunter Biden's laptop, I think that woke up a whole lot of people.
And the Epstein stuff also kind of woke up a lot of people. I had conversations with people on like who were putting me on hold at like banks and stuff, and who was it? It was like something to do for like a rent dispute, and the Johnny Depp trial came up, and he says, "Oh, it's funny that they let us watch this one, but not the Epstein one." I'm like, "Oh yeah." Some random dude on the phone. Even my mum was like, "It's pretty weird." I didn't think there was anything wrong, but now I definitely do.
Oh, so this was when Ethan Klein pulled a fast one on Stephen Crowder.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Explain to me what happened there. Was it like, hey, do you want to come to debate? And then
they were going to debate.
But actually, you're not going to be debating me. You're going to be debating this guy.
So Sam Cedar's been trying to debate Steve Crowder for ages, and Steve Crowder's like, no, don't want to debate you, basically. So then Ethan Klein accused Stephen Crowder of spreading misinformation and what have you about COVID and vaccines and such. So he invites him on the podcast, and as soon as he gets ready to start the debate, Sam Cedar just pops in, and then Crowder's like, I knew you were going to do this. And then everyone starts calling him a coward and stuff because he didn't debate someone that he didn't agree to debate.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of became a despicable character really quite quickly, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
For those who find Rogan too heady and cerebral and prefer to watch a dude's eyebrows play tug of war. That's his podcast according to Razor Fist.
Ethan tagged in another man to do his job so fast you would have thought he was trying to conceive a child. For everyone saying that Ethan was duplicitous, of course he was, and yet that's the only responsible thing for him to do. Chowder wanted to come on and spread misinformation about the most pressing public health issue of our time. If Ethan didn't feel competent to rebut Chowder, proceeding on his own would have been the equivalent of deliberately spreading deadly misinformation. Ethan literally had a moral obligation to ensure that his platform wasn't used to spread lies about a life or death issue.
The internet's so weird. Imagine
being this person. I mean, they you know, they probably believe it's actually Putin's inflation, don't they?
Yeah.
In fact, they like convinced.
Do you remember the public health issue was everyone being on like painkillers and suicides and all this stuff?
And then it's got normalised.
Yeah, now it's oh no, yeah, I won't say more.
This just proves that knowing about grammar and whatever like this guy doesn't mean you're a clever person.
Yeah, there's something especially wrong with you if you're taking that much time to make sure that your grammar's correct on a YouTube comment.
Yeah, exactly.
My guy got exposed and rage quit, therefore the entire thing is dumb. Well, who do you think my guy is exactly? I dislike them both. This is the only meaningful difference I've noticed. I am not surprised by it. Crowder stands view uninvolved people as uninvolved. H3H3 stands view uninvolved people as Crowder stands.
Okay, now it just shows that.
Distinction, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't understand a word of that.
I think they're saying that there are people that will comment on it saying, oh, that's a shitty move. And they were showing that because someone said it was a shitty move, they must be a Crowder supporter rather than just, you know, an objective third party who can see how duplicitous and shitty it was to do that to someone. If you're not with me, you're my enemy.
Yeah.
You underestimate my power. The fall of Gondor.
Don't try it. Don't try it, Anakin. No, don't do it.
So this, I guess, is a itinerary for the Tolkien Society last year.
Yeah, so this is when we're discussing, actually, Conquest's second law, right? Because here's supposedly a neutral organization, which is Tolkien Society, and then you look at their annual conference, the speakers, and the topics, and you just start tearing your hair out.
Gondor in Transition, a brief introduction to transgender realities in The Lord of the Rings.
The problem of pain, betraying physical disability, the fantasy of J.R.R. Tolkien.
All the hobbits.
Yeah, remember when they're going to the Mines of Moria? Remember when they're going to the Mines of Moria, and someone from the Fellowship was like, I can't go in because they don't have a wheelchair ramp?
The Burnt Hand teaches most about fire, applying traumatic stress and ecological frameworks to narratives of displacement and resettlement across cultures in Tolkien's Middle-earth.
It keeps going. The Invisible Other, Tolkien's Dwarf Women, and the Feminine Lack.
Like, you'd at least think they'd throw in some normal
Do these people
talks.
have jobs? Do these people have jobs? And secondly, if those jobs are at like universities and they're getting public money, are those jobs really going to survive the upcoming recession?
Another white pill?
Like, surely at some point, going to be like... Do you know what I mean? Surely at some point you're going to be like, okay, you contribute like literally nothing. You write a paper that no one reads.
They buy
for
things.
A journal that no one reads.
But someone needs to project Indian myths, culture, and history onto Tolkien's world.
Wait. What about this one? Pardoning Saruman, the queer in Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. Was he gay?
No, but you know, it's like
It's got a-
it's
got
like when
man in
people
his
always say
name.
that Mario and Luigi are secretly gay, right? Like it started out as a joke, and then like actually got hijacked, and now like people are legitimately like, oh yeah, Mario and Luigi, they're having whole butt sex.
Clean each other's pipes.
What the fuck was this one? Queer atheists, agnostics, and animists. Oh my! Like,
Oh my!
I thought this was
That's not
Lord of
even
the Rings,
that's not even related, right?
Yeah, that's just who's throwing some, Wizard of Oz in there for good measure.
What is an animist? Is that like a pagan, like branch of paganism?
Yeah, it's like where you believe everything is animated, like so kind of belief that all natural phenomena, including human beings, animals, and plants, but also rocks, lakes, mountains, weather, and so on, share one vital quality: the soul or spirit that energizes them. It's the core of most Arctic belief systems. A lot of Japanese
kind of shit
is
you,
animist as well.
Okay. I was going more for like Colors of the Wind, Book of Hunters and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I thought that said Dana Peterson Deep Throat. I thought that was her name there, but
You've been on the internet too long.
something mighty queer, destabilizing cis hetero anatonormativity in the works of Tolkien. They're having
Oh my goodness.
female orcs in the upcoming.
What is that word? Amatonormativity.
Yeah, I was
What does that
struggling with that
mean?
one. I got lost. Something mighty queer.
I guess like
Like I thought.
Cis hetero amatonormativity.
I guess it just means normal bodied.
No, but that would be even anatonormativity.
Yeah, but these people.
Anatomonormativity, surely, not amatonormativity.
Oh yeah.
I just gave them benefit of the doubt and assumed it was a spelling mistake. But let's have a look. Maybe we've stumbled on some
Hakuna Amata.
Hakuna Matata.
What is that?
Amatonormativity is a word I coined to describe the widespread assumption that everyone is better off in an exclusive, romantic, long-term coupled relationship, and that everyone is seeking such a relationship.
Oh. Well, you describe yourself as an as an anti-amatonormativist, then, no?
Not really.
You're an amatonormativist, then?
No.
Where'd you stand on the amatonormativity question? Personally, I'm pro-stabilizing amatonormativity.
Yeah. I think a bit more of that would be quite good.
Yeah.
This prescribes the terms of pressure or desire for monogamy, romance, and/or marriage.
What are they going to suggest?
Most people, that's probably true for, yeah, but there are edge cases.
No. To me, translation should mean, reproducing the work as faithfully as possible in another language. As soon as you start, adding shit, it's no longer translation.
Yeah.
It's like
Lord of the Tings in the ghetto.
have you guys heard that the Norwegian I think it might have been the Norwegian version of Dracula was completely different, and they only found out recently that for 100 years, because no one asked, right? The one guy translated Dracula into Norwegian and just completely changed the ending. Like the second half is completely different in Norwegian.
It's actually Twilight. That's where Twilight came from.
and no one, no one found out until really, really recently.
That's funny.
I feel like that guy's one should be a book in its own right now, right? Well, I guess it is because it's been going for 100 years.
It is in the public domain. If you want to write your own Dracula prose.
Fanfic.
Okay, let's move on.
Where Dracula and Van Helsing have steaming hot butt sex. World's your oyster.
It's Juneteenth.
That's basically what they were doing, wasn't it?
You are?
That's basically what those last guys were doing at the Talking thing.
It's Juneteenth and reparations. It's Juneteenth and end police violence and the war on drugs. It's Juneteenth and end housing and education apartheid. It's Juneteenth and teach the truth about white supremacy in our country. Black liberation in its totality must be prioritised. In a shocking turn, you gave your political enemies what they wanted, and they demanded more.
Yeah, right. Who would have thunk it?
I mean, did they really just want a day off?
Don't talk to me till I have my written in 5 ants. Concerta. And Fokalin.
What is Concerta?
America's
I
so
guess
crazy,
it's
has
the
all
same
these
as-
drug names and stuff.
Yeah, we used to do a lot. When I was in Texas, 5 ants was like the thing. And Adderall.
What do we have in the UK? We have like fucking ibuprofen, paracetamol, and that's like it.
Yeah, for stronger pains you can get codeine, I think.
Yeah. But like you have to separate it, you need to like get like a whole coffee filter thing, don't you, where you can pour it in the water, then make it dissolve, and then that's how you get the codeine out of it. Someone told me anyway. John McAfee's still in the morgue, by the way.
In the Borg.
In the morgue, he's still in the morgue.
I thought you meant he joined the Borg. Let me know when there's an openly gay NFL player that isn't a Republican. The gay NFL player had to be a Republican. Never trust these white gays for shit. And of course, the gay NFL player is a Republican. A disappointment. God damn it, the gay NFL guy is a Republican.
I mean, most NFL players tend to skew right wing.
Because they want to keep their money.
So, like, statistically, you know, even the ones that are, I suppose, sexual orientation non-conforming, statistically would also be Republicans. In fact, maybe they're more likely to be Republicans. You never know.
Yeah, what do we
People
make of
always
John
hate it,
McAfee being found dead in his prison cell?
He was a bit of a wreckhead. So I could see him
rest in
die.
peace.
But he did say that he wasn't going to kill himself beforehand.
Didn't he get a tattoo saying, I didn't kill myself?
Yeah. Yeah, I was following his
think-
Twitter that whole time, and he kept posting about how he was in prison and he's having an alright time, he's befriended this person, food's actually alright, I'm not going to kill myself, like stuff like that. And then he found dead.
Rip.
How did they say he was...
How did they even catch him in the first place?
Don't know.
How did they catch him?
Like, he used to be so careful. Like, he would make, like, posts on all those, like, networks. Like, I guess today it's Telegram, but before it was something even more different. And, you know, he'd say about how he's, like, getting burner phones and stuff. And
Well, but he was so fast and loose on his Twitter, though. Like, he would, like, be like, guess where this is, and then people would guess it in the comments. And, like, he'd be out at, like, bars. And he'd be like, I'm in Prague. And then he was in Spain, and then he got caught in Spain.
Yeah, he was arrested when he was trying to board a plane on his way to Turkey. That's what they said.
right.
So I guess he just started getting a bit sloppy.
So you're gonna make some kind of pun, like I thought you got cold turkey.
I keep screaming, but God doesn't hear me.
That's me. Whenever I look at the price of petrol. My mate was joking the other day. I don't know if I told you that. Like we're cracking jokes about how there's going to be a petrol station Y2K when the first number switches to 2, and like all the petrol stations are going to blow up.
Oh, should we have a bread price check?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The old
I think it's
Hovis
still
meter.
120, but it could very well be 130 now.
If it doesn't move, we've just proven that there's no wheat in Hovis.
Just wood shavings. Let's see. Ovis, white, Tesco. Let's go.
Still 120.
Still 120. Okay. So far 10p since the start of the year. 9% inflation.
New Biden. If you think you can, no, if you think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons.
That was like a Trump
I was going to
statement.
say theoretically. I saw the other day someone said on Twitter that they want they want all Americans to have they want to take away AR-15s from Americans and instead give them AK-47s because historically people with AK-47s have a 100% success rate against the US government.
Don't nuke me, bro. Emperor Palpatine urges citizens to give up their blasters since they'd need a Death Star to be the Empire.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, in reality, all they needed was a few Ewoks armed with slingshots,
stones,
and spears.
I see virtually nobody on the right unwilling to accept the disaffected liberals despite political disagreements.
What a terribly worded sentence.
I know. That was
I
just
see
me, right?
virtually nobody on the right unwilling to accept the disaffected liberals despite political disagreements. God, he's such a fucking midwit.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? I never watch any of his stuff. I've never got anything from it.
I mean, why not just insert more negatives? I mean, fuck it, go large. I see virtually nobody not on the right, not willing to not accept the affected liberals, in spite of non-political non-agreements. Try to untangle that one.
Dude, you need to watch the debate on Elijah Schaffer's channel today, then, because seriously. And James Lindsay, that contingent is rapidly growing. It's bad. I've had a number of them tell me I'll need to be disposed of or forcibly converted once my utility to their movement dries up. What is
James Lindsay's utility? Like,
I mean, he's just very good at academicizing the actual problems with Marxism, but a lot of Marxism can be dismissed like at face value.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's kind of a form of entertainment to like actually dig into it and see like where it all comes from as a sort of historical matter, but it doesn't really help you fight the thing.
I have this vague feeling the movement will very well survive and even thrive without the talent of James Lindsay.
I can't tell if it's neo-reactionaries in general, I don't think so, or a more specific openly anti-liberal conservatism group that believes that liberalism, and usually Jews, is the problem, that wokeness is the necessary endpoint of classical liberalism.
Yeah, it's so boring.
I mean, I think I personally believe that wokeness is a necessary endpoint of classical liberalism.
I think it's necessary, but we're at that stage and there's not really anything we can do to change. We can't start again, so...
Yeah.
Well,
no matter what Biden
sufficient
says.
Nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
With sufficient nuclear weapons, we will start again.
Some F-15s.
Guess what? I like you.
Aw,
Who's
so
that
nice.
to?
He keeps sending me these emails. If you subscribe to him on Gumroad, he'll occasionally send you like a uplifting message.
Oh.
I think bottom left can just be left there without comment because I don't want to alert the
My goodness.
Sorry. Ooh, Wembley to be allowed at least 60,000 fans.
For the semis. Awesome that I can't meet my friends in the back garden, but they're only 60k in one place. Don't get me wrong, I am happy with them. I am just unhappy with the government playing double standards. Yeah, that was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only for the idiots that followed it.
The government has jets and nukes. What can your Second Amendment do? Bye, JFK.
I only play as Greta Thunberg.
Stop right there, smooth criminal scum. Race king of pop. Miami building collapses, leaves 99 people unaccounted for.
What were you guys laughing about this? Just cracking up.
Damn. I guess we're at that stage of the collapse of the empire, where buildings just fall apart on their own.
Oh yeah, that kind of is the feeling it gives me as well. I remember when Grenfell happened, I was in Italy and I was thinking, fuck, that seems quite third worldy for that that sort of thing to start happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Miami building collapse, what happened with this? Let's have a look. Oh, one person died. 11 were injured.
Someone didn't pay their Disney Plus subscription and it got taken out by a Disney drone.
The main contributing factor under investigation is long-term degradation of reinforced concrete structural support due to water penetration and corrosion of reinforcing steel. Problems have been reported in 2018 and noted as much worse in April 2021. $50 million program for remedial works had been approved before the collapse, but the main structural work had not started. Other possible
Water
factors
can't
include
melt steel beams.
insufficient reinforcing steel and corruption during construction. Yeah, man, like, what? You just wouldn't want to live in one of these buildings.
No. I wonder how many cats died. I feel like that'd be the sort of place you had a lot of cats.
Just in, Israel reimposes mask mandates amid new virus fears and despite a very high mRNA vaccination rate just days after it lifted the measure. Update, about half of adults infected in the new outbreak of the Delta variant in Israel were fully inoculated with Pfizer mRNA vaccine. They're still pushing them even though we're on like 10 variants removed from the virus that the vaccine was designed for.
Yeah, I think
Well, apparently they've now released one against the O variant, but apparently even that's already outdated because the O variant is on this like fifth Super Saiyan form.
Must be nice having a product you just keep selling to the person.
Yeah.
You just need half the people to be mental who are going to like double up on the dose compared to everyone else, and you still make the same profits, I guess.
Yeah. Peter Hitchens' weird weekends. Here you go. Peter Hitchens. Yeah, go on.
Peter Hitchens heads to Hampshire to meet e-celebrity Belle Delphine and to explore the strange online world of e-girls and catboys. There he learns to hair go pose and starts his own OnlyFans page, acquiring his first simp, BBC Two, 11 p.m.
I'd be his first simp, I reckon.
El knows about this guy as well, Jack.
Yeah, I don't know why. I thought he was in my dreams. This guy.
No, so this is the guy. This is there's no such thing as a coincidence guy. He had like a brief rise to fame through his like TikToks, where he would just give you like your kind of bog standard affirmations, spliced out with some like esoteric stuff. So he'd be like, "Today I will affirm that the universe has my back." You know, just yeah, he
Yeah.
just made an app.
Why was he in hospital?
Oh, I don't know. Because I guess positive thinking has its limits.
Yeah, it causes tumours. That'd be a fucked up world.
AOC, nation can only heal once oppressed southern states are liberated. The left morphing to basically a neoconservative movement complete with worshipping the security state confirms critics have been saying for years what neoconservatism is, at heart sympathetic to the left because it derives so much from the left.
Yeah, this is why they can't just let Roe v. Wade SCOTUS decision go, can they? Because they kind of believe they have this mandate of heaven to be the cultural hegemon, and so they have to impose whatever rules they have in California on the red states. In fact, they can't imagine a reality where this is not the case.
Yeah. All that sins of the father stuff as well. It's all very religious, isn't it?
So you see that Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day has decided to move to the UK because he's sick of America and its abortion laws. Completely ignorant of the fact that the abortion laws in California, where he lives, are much more liberal than they are in the UK.
Do you think he saw that and has changed his mind, or do you think he just soldiered on?
I don't know, but it's so bizarre, like, because like people over here going like mental over it, and like it's like you do realise that they've just made it so it's the same as the UK, where England, Wales, Scotland and Ireland all decide their own abortion laws. So, like, the US is now more in line with how the UK does things, not the other way around.
Yeah.
People are just so ignorant of their own country. They're just like, I don't know. People should be pleased. Like, in California now, you'll be able to abort Republicans, like, even after birth.
Yeah, you'll be able to abort your 2-year-old.
Your 2-year-old Republican.
If you suspect he's a Republican.
I love Eric Weinstein's, like, bezzy mates with all these fucking suicides.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
they're really fucking with him.
I can't believe McAfee reached out to Eric Weinstein. Out of all the people, I bet you he wasn't the first person in his telephone book. It was kind of like, shit. The other 19 people left me
Yeah,
on red.
Weinstein.
Time for Eric Weinstein.
Towards the end, isn't it, of the alphabet?
Yeah, why reach out to a guy who's too pussy to keep releasing his podcast? Like, we still haven't got the Michael Malice podcast from a year and a half ago.
I was gonna say McAfee was like, Elon Musk left me on red, Steven Pinker left me on red. It's gonna be Eric Weinstein. Hello, Eric. How you doing, man?
Welcome to the portal. My cost of living's been going up forever and now is going up even faster. Economics PhD. Wrong. We've had no inflation this century and we need much higher prices.
Yeah, again, it's a good thing the mask is slipping. So we're gonna have that horrifically cringy thing that did last year, 4th of July, where they were like, "Hey, your 4th of July basket is gonna be 16 cents cheaper this year," and it was all like cherry picked items. That you just know they like work their hardest and they are like desperately grasping at straws to like prove a point that there is no inflation in face of blatant reality.
The idea that like inflation is a single number is like totally stupid as well. Like,
yeah,
price of
there
everything.
are different food items.
Yeah, so like things that are
Like-
easily producible, or like electronic goods and digital goods will get cheaper and cheaper. Food and common commodities will rise a little bit, and then scarce products like cars, real estate just shoots up through the roof. So the idea there's a single number that describes inflation is totally stupid.
Yeah.
Why don't they divide it like that? That seems like a...
Because then they won't be able to manipulate people.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Because if inflation is a certain number, then the government can then print money to control in quotes inflation, which obviously exacerbates the problem.
Wait, how do you control inflation? By printing money?
Well, you don't.
You.
But to the economically
I guess
illiterate,
you what you can do is you raise the interest rates, right? If you raise the interest rates, people are going to just save money in the banks because it suddenly becomes, actually somewhat profitable to store money in a bank. The only problem is then people just don't spend money. Companies are gonna, lay people off. This is why people are now prophesizing white collar collapse, right? Because blue collar people don't really have anything to worry about because you're responsible for manufacture. You're responsible for the part of GDP that's actually worth something to someone rather than just making PowerPoints, right? Slash Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
But they are prophesizing that at some point interest rates are going to have to rise, and that's going to cause an insane, probably actually a deflationary spiral on a lot of goods, and that's going to cause companies to start laying people off. And the first thing they're going to lay off are the people who like that lady. I sent you that TikTok about a lady who was like, oh, I go to the company, I have like a chai latte, I check my emails, and there's a meeting, and then bad news for people like her in all actuality.
But yeah, essentially as well, like by hiding the true inflation rates, you can put interest rates that people start saving, but really their money's still being devalued even though they feel like they're saving it because the real inflation is higher than what's being said. Yeah. So you essentially, the currency gets devalued over time regardless of the knobs and levers that government is saying it's pulling on your behalf. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, brief history of time. So 1997, Tony Blair says there were 14 days to save the NHS.
Yeah, and then, believe it or not, 18 years later, just 52 hours to save our NHS. And I've seen this bit quite a number of times. It gets pulled out every year, basically, because it just keeps on going, keeps growing every year.
6 weeks to save.
I think they stopped. I think they may have stopped with the charade now, although I don't know what it's going to be like in 2025.
I remember being locked down for a couple of years to save the NHS.
Yeah.
Why 52 hours? Like, where did they pull these numbers out? We have 13 days.
Oh, I mean, so that was like 2 days before the election. I think the election was on the 7th of May, 2015. So it was like you have just 52 hours, which is 2 days and I guess 4 hours till the polls close, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Miliband's actually the only honest one on there because he says we have only 100 days to save the NHS as we know it. So he's not saying it's going to completely be destroyed.
But I think the NHS is... How different is the NHS now from NHS in 2015?
I think, from what I've heard of people...
Okay, I guess if you take into account COVID, but say how different was the NHS in 2019 versus 2015?
Brexit happened. Quite a few people. The makeup of a lot of the staff changed. I think there's a lot more African people there now. According to
Nige.
Yeah, according to Nige, but according to someone that I know that goes to hospital quite a lot. He's got this mad nurse called Blessing, who's apparently a proper like Nurse Ratched type.
You can imagine like some like racist old biddy who's like voted for Brexit to like, and then she goes to the hospital. Now it's just full of black people and Indians.
Yeah, it's a sitcom. She's dying, and they're like, "You'll be dying." Critics say you'll be dying with laughter.
Female cricketer blames sexism over the quality of women's match balls, despite men playing with the identical footballs.
Yeah, I guess the joke's gonna write themselves. Yeah. I mean, whoever wrote this article must have been pissing himself, writing about men playing with balls.
NHS prescriptions for gardening and dancing are vitally needed to help tackle rising levels of loneliness after lockdown, isolation sufferers have said.
That's obviously the thoughts of someone that's been locked away for way too long, right?
Sorry, what the fuck is an NHS prescription for gardening and dancing? Is this one of those things? Where,
It's madness, yeah.
Also, gardening...
Just adamant not to...
Gardening's like a solitary hobby anyway, really.
What if you live in a tower block? You go to the doctor, he's like, you do some gardening. Shit. And I live on the 15th floor of a tower block. What the fuck am I going to gardening?
I guess in that case you could maybe do some DIY work, make sure the building doesn't fall down.
Also, how is gardening going to help you with isolation and loneliness?
You
Surely it's going to turn you into
It's a classic team sport. What are you talking about?
It's going to turn you into a druid hermit type, right? Who talks to his beanstalks and shit.
But yeah, why do we need to waste the NHS's time? Why not just have a press conference saying, yeah, go and dance more, rather than...
Here is a countrywide prescription for dancing and gardening. Oh, you still have to pay 19 quid for it, by the way.
Pfizer said on Thursday it's pausing distribution of its anti-smoking treatment Chantix after finding elevated levels of cancer-causing agents called nitrosamines in the pills.
Whoa. That's a big...
It's healthy to smoke, isn't it?
Chantix, what a weird name to call it.
Yeah.
Immune responses to the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine improved with a longer gap of up to 45 weeks between doses.
Sure.
What? How do they have 45 weeks to know that?
45 weeks is almost a year, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like 11 months or something.
Unless they were giving third doses to people who were in the trials. And seeing how it responded.
#pandemic.
Men have experienced a much steeper decline in the number of close friends they have. It's dramatic. Maybe using civil rights laws to make all male spaces literally legal was a bad idea. Yeah, I remember getting berated for saying that, oh yeah, I would like to go camping with just male friends. Not all the time, it'd be nice to do that. And to have the option to do that. Huh?
Yeah.
Alright, village people. Just man. Camping. Just man.
Yeah, I want to touch your meridian hearts.
Kick back with some Chantix.
Why camping? Why not go on a boat? You can sing in the Navy.
Woke Disney XX. A toy called Slave One. Same Disney XX. Slave labour in China to make your products. Did they cancel Slave One then?
Yeah, they renamed it Boba's ship or something. You're a slave. I'm a starship, but my name is Boba Fett's.
At least they could have pretended it was supposed to be Salvo, but it was a misprint or something.
That would kind of work.
I'm sure they could have strong-armed Lucas, George Lucas, come on TV and say yeah, everyone, there's a typo, it's meant to be Salvo 1. Obviously, we'd never name a ship Slave. Come on. And then everyone would have just run with it. There's such a lack of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't Boba Fett kind of a slave as well? No, he's not a slave, I suppose.
He's a clone. He's a clone of his dad.
I mean, his clones are slaves.
He's a slave of his genetics.
Well, yes and no. Yeah, I guess they didn't really have much freedom on Camino, did they?
No, plus they receive an order and they have to follow it. That sounds pretty Slavic.
Yeah, but I didn't. Isn't it explained in like the Clone Wars that Palpatine implants a chip in their brains, that made them that like when no one was looking, apparently Palpatine like implanted a chip in them, in all of the clone troopers that made them susceptible to being like almost directly controlled, through Order 66. Like I think different like initially was gonna they said that like he implanted a chip in them, and then they kind of retconned it to say that he was just playing them like tons of like anti-Jedi propaganda whilst no one was looking. He was like, here's your weekly movie, guys, come in right this way, and just like fuck the Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
India has redirected at least 50,000 additional troops for its border with China in a historic shift towards an offensive military posture against the world's second biggest economy.
I love how this time last year India and China were like on the brink of being enemies, and today, because of US diplomacy, like diplomatic incompetence, India, Russia, and China have been the closest they've ever been.
Yeah, that's quite a whoopsie daisy.
Yeah.
Especially after like siding with India over Pakistan for so long, so that they could keep Russia out of the region.
Otago and UK researchers have developed a world-first weight loss device to help fight the global obesity epidemic, an intraoral device that restricts a person to a liquid diet. The elites are going to weigh our mouths shut and feed us bug smoothies.
That's medieval, that stuff. Yeah, what the hell?
This is insane.
Didn't we already discuss that a liquid diet doesn't actually work?
I'm 100% sure that it's not going to be used for any nefarious purposes, especially if it can be remote controlled. If you're like, tell me, Mr. Anderson, what good is a phone call when your mouth has been wired shut?
There's no way of knowing how bad things will get in the US. In a way, that's a luxury.
That's actually a good thing.
How could someone write that sentence?
I mean, I guess it goes back to what Mulbach said, right? At some point, like believing the nonsense becomes your uniform, right? It's how you tell who's loyal to the people in charge versus who isn't, right?
Yeah.
It's what kind of nonsense you're willing to admit you believe.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's also the question of who's actually believing this stuff, who's getting high on their own supply, and who is just saying it because they want to be amongst, in good graces with the people in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Today we showed up to Joe Biden's doorstep with 500 plus people and blockaded every entrance to the White House, demanding they include a fully funded civilian climate corps in his infrastructure bill. Secret Service then arrested dozens of us. Protesting at federal buildings is no longer terrorism again.
Getting friend-enemy distinction.
How insecure do you have to be to put your height and your IQ in your Twitter fucking name?
So I think at this point, he started doing that. He started that as a joke, and then people are having exactly the reaction you're having, so he just kept it, and now people are having exactly the same reaction you are, and then he'll just like quote tweet them and have his followers laugh at those people.
I feel like the build back BlackRock should have been.
Don't fall for it.
Should have been build BlackRock better, right?
Yeah.
The other day I saw a meme saying that like, nothing was built, nothing is back, nothing is better.
Pretty sure a few Amazon depots got built.
Yeah. Probably.
Perhaps I have discovered the secret to a peaceful mind and his traumatic brain injury. I haven't stopped thinking about this essay since I read it.
Fucking hell, lobotomy.
What?
5 reasons you should get lobotomy.
That's mental. That's scary.
I agree, disabled people are scary.
Someone put red laser eyes on this statue of Gandhi.
Yeah, that's cool. That's proper civilization vibes.
Peace has its limits. Right. Peaceful coexistence has its limits.
Thing is, whoever had a camera in Matt Hancock's office must also have hundreds of footage of him working flat out to single-handedly end the pandemic, and they choose to leak the one bit where he does something wrong. Pretty sad, really. I hope they're happy. It's terrible that people focus entirely on the people Fred West murdered and not his fantastic work as a builder.
I hate this sycophant thing. Ugh. Yeah.
But I feel like that's...
It's like when Trudeau...
Who is Tom Peck? Sorry, go
Do you
for
remember when Trudeau praised his dad after Fidel Castro's death? And he wrote like, yeah, you know, Castro may have been a controversial figure, but...
Yeah, this guy's an epidemiologist, so don't really trust him more than I can throw him.
An expert.
The theoretical leader of the US obviously doesn't know where he is 90% of the time, and no one cares. You're expected to pretend he received the most votes in American history.
Yeah, someone said that, like, he's not in control of his own trousers. Or, yeah, much less the country. I mean, he shot himself in the Vatican, for heaven's sake.
Yeah. He was calling the Pope African American as well during that. A complete fuck up of a trip. I do enjoy those stories though. It's like Mr. Magoo going about.
Journalism jobs have disappeared faster than coal miners, according to the Department of Labour.
Oh no. Anyway.
Beautiful.
White people, I beg you, please stop sending private messages of support and agreement, text, DMs, emails. Private support is violent. Honesty it is. Make it public or keep it to yourselves. God, there's just no pleasing these people, is there?
No, there's no winning here. If you thought there was winning here, you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah.
Paraphrase Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, no one's been able to say where it would end. When it will stop.
Given an inch, they'll take a mile.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
With the influencer.
Gosh, has it really been a year?
Yeah.
Since that guy did a... What would you even call that? Koreaplasty?
Where is he now?
Good question. Ollie London. Is that even his real name? Or just a really poor pseudonym?
I think it's one of those YouTuber names. Now
I mean, to be fair, just getting plastic surgery in general makes you look Korean. Do you know that in Korea, between the age of 18 and 24, 60% of people have plastic surgery?
Oh.
It's like culturally normal as well for like parents to buy their kids plastic surgery before going for a job interview.
Incredible.
Mm.
I feel like I'm in the wrong job line. To become a Korean plastic surgeon.
I mean, he looks like a woman as well. I guess he's trans and Korean. Trans-Korean?
Yeah.
Probably non-binary, I don't know.
Just can't watch too much James Charles, it seems. Fuck knows. Yeah, crazy. But apparently can get away with being trans-Korean. Seems to have a career still.
Yeah, I think you can go too far. You can go too far past the pale, and they can't touch you.
A new video from known Battlefield content creator and leaker Tom Henderson collates all the information he has been given on Grand Theft Auto 6. Henderson reports that the upcoming title will have multiple playable characters, including a woman who is the bright one in the group, responsible for things such as technology and hacking.
I hope he's trolling.
I really hope. I mean, to be fair, it's
he
not
might
like
be
about
trolling.
AAA games.
Rockstar's
Unless
always been good.
unless the game has been developed in a garage by two guys subsisting on like fast food and just coding non-stop, I'm not interested. Like, I want that, passion for art. So I don't. These days, I only play like indie games.
Yeah, fair
Not
enough.
even the pretentious ones.
Didn't they like apologise recently for some of the transphobic stuff in some of the older games, like on the radio shows?
Oh, I hope not.
I think I read
I
something
don't
like
even
that.
know what he's made.
Oh no, this is a leaker, but Grand Theft Auto is what he's talking about. Grand Theft Auto, transphobic. Yeah, this was recent. Rockstar cuts transphobic content from Grand Theft Auto 5 and GTA Online.
That's really sad.
I love how you can kill hookers, but you can't say bad words.
That's kind of the rules now, isn't it?
Take that out of context.
Rockstar appear to have disabled the trans caricatures or drag queens from spawning outside cockatoos. This could be following a plea last year. I hope this provides comfort to anyone who felt these NPCs depicted harmful stereotypes. The models still exist in director mode at the moment, but their dialogue options have been removed.
Ah. Interesting.
Rockstar didn't comment on the changes or acknowledge them, but they came several months after making games. A UK-based discovery group, advocacy group for LGBTQ+ people working in the games industry sent an open letter to the studio calling on it to remove transphobic elements. What's transphobic though? Tell me what's wrong. This is like fucking... This is Dutch cartoons all over again, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You must be offended by things you are not allowed to see.
Yeah, and if we take away those trans models' voices, they're not trans because you're only trans if you say you are.
For much of the past 2 centuries, it was illegal to be gay in the vast swathe of the world, thanks to colonial Britain. What? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Imagine living rent-free, guys.
I guess the
living
elephant in the
rent-free.
room. The elephant in the room is that in a lot of those countries, it still is, a lot of those post-colonial countries.
But that's somehow our fault too.
Which is that good.
I prefer this goatsy rainbow flag. They had the purple circle last year then.
Yeah, I just noticed that. 'Cause I was confused by it.
I was gonna say, speaking of, I've actually seen the
The next one.
the new flag somewhere the other day, like the one with like the triangle cutting in. You actually saw it flying from a building, so they are updating them.
It's all in central London.
What did we say the purple ring meant?
Inter, I think.
Intersex, that's it.
Yeah.
That intersex part is, well, as its own flag, has been around since 2013.
What? Really?
It hasn't been introduced in the LGBT flag as a whole, but that flag's been the purple circle in the yellow background.
Is the implication now that black people are gay? What's going on with that?
Fuck knows.
Question.
Uh,
I guess they're queer.
A bit peculiar.
Yeah, it was incorporated last year. But intersex people, it's not a sexuality or a... I don't understand. What does the pride flag mean? Is it just pride can only be people who have been oppressed?
Yeah, that's what
it's
it
an
is.
oppression flag, really, not a pride flag.
Yeah, that's kind of. But be proud in your in that, I guess.
What does the white stripe signify?
I don't know.
White stripe.
The white stripe is
White-
also present
white power?
in the.
Oh, there's an ally pride flag. Yes, the one with the triangle cutting in is called the Progress Pride flag. Oh my god, there's a Two-Spirit one. For people who hate nationalism, they have an awful lot of affinity for flags.
I know, right?
It's symbolism.
People are symbol-minded, as George Carlin would say. A high-dollar GOP donor from the Tennessee is bankrolling the deployment of South Dakota National Guard troops to the southern border. We officially reached the buying your own legion stage of imperial decline.
Yeah.
When does Jon Stewart signal it is finally okay to talk about progressing cognitive decline? When you actually understand basic math. 2 out of 10
I
equals
was actually
0.2.
watching. What's it called? I watched the Dave Smith show the other day, and apparently AOC went on, was it the Colbert show?
Right.
And Colbert was like, oh, even though Biden says he's running, like, why wouldn't you want to run for president in 2024? And Dave was like, can you imagine if someone in 2012 like walked up to some random congressman and was like, yeah, Obama's president, he says he's running for re-election, but how about you run instead? Like, it's just so completely outside the norm. It's clown world.
A YouTuber isn't part of the worker class. They are part of the proletariat. They don't own the means of production. They are dependent on YouTube. Obviously much wealthier than your typical proletariat, but proletariat nonetheless. Is Jake Paul part of the proletariat?
Unbelievable. I cannot believe him. Incredible.
Are we proles? I think I'm a prole.
Yeah.
Jake Prole. We have reached the end. Next time on the Memory Hole.
What have we got in store?
We got R. Kelly watching Bill Cosby get released from prison. Pride Month is over. Why are you still gay? Sam Hyde travelling to Jamaica, exploring his family roots. Meanwhile, you're arguing about H3H3 versus Stephen Crowder. Debate on Reddit. You country bumpkin, you. Oh, the little German girl crying at the Euros. That was hilarious.
Well, yeah, and the end of being a pedo.
Oh shit!
And oh fuck, you're gonna make me dumb.
Cool.
And there we have it. Another week, another epi. Like and subscribe and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got
Like, comment, subscribe.
Come and subscribe. Right.